Here's an alternative way to create your marigolds for your marigolds still life, but we're using Sharpies and oil pastels on a yellow sheet of paper instead. Start by lightly sketching in your flowers. So you're making kind of a C shape. If you think about marigolds by looking at those pictures that we have on Google Classroom, they're big, fluffy, round flowers. So you're just kind of going around and making a C shape over and over. They almost look like clouds until we start adding extra decorations. And go really close to the edge, and I would have a goal of about 6 or 7 of them. It really depends on how large you make them, how many you'll have to draw. When your flowers are finished drawn in pencil, you're going to use a black marker to trace around them. And it's all right if they're not really precise. Just go around in those pencil marks. Those were just to help give you an idea of where you should make a marker mark. And then just add a little bit there in the middle, maybe some dots if you'd like. Same thing. C shape all the way around, repeating, and a few in the middle. After that, you'll add accents of oil pastel and blend them a bit so that you can get a variety of orange and yellow and red. Once again, check out those pictures if you need to refresh your memory. So I like to start with either orange or red and kind of go next to my black lines here. We are not being super precise because we're going to overlap. And a little bit of smearing is okay, but do your best not to smear too much in the middle, especially since we're not fully coloring these in. This method is kind of a time saver due to having so many limited days left together. And then finally, I'll grab my yellow and blend those a little bit. The blending is the fun part. These are almost like paints in crayon form. And you will repeat this same process for all of your flowers. Do a nice job and finish those up. Then on a green sheet of paper, you're going to create some almond shapes that are very close together. I would go for 4 of them if you can, so I can fit a couple fingers inside of them. That's how big they are, and they're really, really close to the edge, and they're even bumping into each other. And when you're making this shape, you're making a very slightly curved line that meets another slightly curved line. And then when you like your shapes, you'll go back and go over it with a pastel or a crayon. If you still haven't created your vase, then you're going to take a kind of skinny rectangle like this, fold it in half, trace on the folded side, otherwise it will be 2 pieces. And if you get 2 pieces, we'll just tape it together and then carefully cut it out. After you cut it out, it'll look something like this. If you have time, add designs, but today let's focus on getting everything cut out and glued on. When you cut out your flowers, I suggest kind of doing a bubble cut around them first, so meaning you're cutting around them without popping the bubble or cutting up next to the line quite yet. Be really, really careful. And then after you have it kind of in this bubble, then we can turn it without having this extra paper in the way, and we can get a little bit closer and cut the whole thing out really, really carefully. And I'm leaving a little bit of yellow. If you want to go right up next to your black line, that's all right. So cut all of your flowers out. When all your pieces are cut out, you're ready to glue them on your background. You're going to start with the vase and then the flowers, and then we will tuck the leaves kind of underneath the flowers in different places. Remember to use small dots of glue on everything. So you place the tip on your paper and little squeezing. We don't need to squeeze a lot because it will make our paper ripple if we have way too much glue, and it goes way quicker if we're not making big blobs. And carefully flip it over. That's going to sit a little bit on your tablecloth here. Gently pat it down, especially if you used any pastel anywhere, because you don't want to smear it. And then next we start positioning our flowers. You might want to lay them out first if you have time to decide how you'd like them to be laid out on your paper, and then carefully flip them over and stick them down where you would like them. Then place it on the drying rack to dry.